Good evening, this is B. N. Nagesh, retired civil servant, MA in Political Science and Public Administration. Today, we continue the discussion on 2020 GS4 paper. So, as I said, GS4 basically comprises two sections. Part A is the conceptual part, the various concepts like aptitude, attitude, emotional intelligence, transparency, accountability, and the contributions of political thinkers from India and abroad. Part B is case studies. So we see the question for discussion. Hatred is destructive of a person's wisdom and conscience, which can poison a nation's spirit. Do you agree? Justify. So the question is, what are the effects of hatred? What are the implications of promoting hatred? How it can poison a nation's spirit? How it can destroy a person's wisdom and conscience? Do you agree? Justify. First, an introduction. Hatred is a strong emotion which can pollute a person's spirit. See, when you hate a person, or you hate a place, or you hate somebody, it pollutes a person's spirit, it poisons one's goal, and deep into all relationships that surround. So hatred is all pervasive. It is like a poison which can penetrate all the relationships which surround you. It can be directed at anything. It can be internal or it can be external. The most destructive is external hatred, that is showing it outside, that is hatred towards other people. So we had a brief discussion, introduction on the feeling of hatred. Hatred is a strong emotion which has the potential to poison one's goal with disturbing all the relationships that surround. Then it can also poison a nation's spirit. When does it poison? When the hatred is displayed towards other people. So that is the most destructive part of hatred. As I said, hatred can be internal, then hatred can be external. Now, what are the implications? Hatred turned outwards is dangerous. Now, hatred towards a particular community, so that leads to a narrow view of that community, painting the community in that particular community in black colors, blaming it for everything which goes wrong. Then here, thereby, we spread the specter of communalism. Communalism is hatred turned outwards, and we have seen the havoc played by communalism. Communalism poisons a nation's spirit and it destroys a person's wisdom and conscience, because when the individual is communal or when the group is communal, they are damaging the country's secular spirit, they are damaging the nation's spirit and promoting fear in the minds of the minorities. So, hatred turned outwards is dangerous. Here we highlight the menace of communalism. Another form of hatred is hate speeches. This is also an indirect way of promoting hatred towards the community. We have seen hate speeches by several political elements, and in fact, the hate speeches tend to promote disunity, disharmony in society, and hate speeches, how they are a part of the electoral campaign, and how the election commission has not been able to do anything to control or to ban the hate speeches. When you have hatred towards a particular section of society, then you cannot have compassion for the vulnerable groups. See, the vulnerable groups, the SC, ST, women, the differently abled, the aged, the senior, and the transgenders. Now, as an administrator, if you have hatred to any particular group or you are biased towards any particular group, then you cannot deliver justice in society. You cannot, if your mind is blocked, saying that certain groups do not require assistance or certain groups should not be helped, if you come with a biased mind, so this is also a form of hatred in which compassion to the vulnerable groups is absent. When I say hatred, suppose I speak of hatred in a democratic setup, then I here I mean there is no place for dissent. Dissent is the fundamental component of democracy. Dissent is very much required for forming a constructive opinion. Suppose the ruling elite, wherever it is, if they do not give importance to dissent, if they feel like whatever they say is correct, so hatred, by hatred, I take hatred as a form of dissent. Then hatred perpetrates violence and crime. So we have seen how just after the speeches by a particular political party or by a leader inflaming the particular section whom they have addressed, invariably that results in violence and it results in crime and it disturbs the peace in society. Now you take conflicting ideologies, hatred relating to conflicting ideologies. Now two political parties, how they cannot, how each cannot tolerate the other, leading to the attacks on the party workers just because their ideologies don't match. So hatred is linked to conflicting ideologies. Finally, hatred is physically harmful and emotionally devastating. See, for an individual, internal hatred, if he is not able to communicate in society, if he is withdrawn, if he is not liking certain members in society, or he has, his views are do not agree with the views of the society. This is not only physically harmful for the individual, but it also leads to the individual being emotionally devastated. So hatred, when we say it is destructive of a person's wisdom and conscience, which can poison a nation's spirit, you say that you agree, then you justify your answer by saying, by showing the implications of hatred. Like I said, how hatred which is reflected outwards, that is hatred turned outwards to a particular group, to a particular section of society, it leads to communalism, communal rights, and the fear psychosis in the minds of the particular group. So that group is blamed for everything which goes wrong in society. That group is painted in black colors. So what happens is that particular community is targeted for everything. So hatred turned outwards is dangerous. Then we also spoke of hate speeches, how the election commission has not been able to ban the hate speeches, and how hate speeches invariably result in destruction, result in violence, and further the hate speeches lead to marginalization of the certain communities. And we also said how hatred does not have or does not lead to compassion for the vulnerable groups. Suppose I am prejudiced in my approach towards a particular vulnerable group, I feel that they should not be protected. Then indirectly I am hating that group. For instance, I remember as an NGO working for the cause of the differently abled, how much we had to struggle to get the differently abled concessions in the field of education. There was a lot of resistance from the officials. This is because they hated the vulnerable groups. They have a prejudiced mind. So when I say hatred, I mean you have no compassion for the vulnerable groups and you are not committed to the progressive policies of the government. Now, by hatred, I also mean no place for dissent. Dissent is a part of the democratic functioning, democratic setup, and if a particular party does not give importance to dissent, it believes in whatever it says is right. So dissent is another form of expression of hatred. So hatred also results in violence and crime. We have seen how the hate speeches or the marginalization of certain groups lead to violence and crime. This is an extension of crime, hatred turned outwards. Conflicting ideologies in between political parties, hating the ideology of a certain particular political party is also resulting in disrupting the social fabric. So the by general I mean hatred is physically harmful and emotionally devastating. I conclude my discussion by saying hatred, how do we eliminate hatred? The need to replace irrational thoughts, compassion, love, all these positive elements need to be cultivated. Finally, I give a different meaning for the word hate. I express it as healing aggressive thoughts emotionally. This is a very beautiful expression or a beautiful explanation of the word hate. By hate, it need not be internal hate or external hate. You will have to rephrase the concept into reading as healing aggressive thoughts emotionally, care for the vulnerable, care for the social fabric, then respecting dissent, respecting conflicting ideologies. All this is very much required in the democratic setting. So instead of hatred, you come to a stage where you can heal aggressive thoughts emotionally. So this is a discussion on General Studies paper 4 concepts coming in part A of the paper. So in this, when I did this particular question, I correlated the answer with whatever I have read for the in General Studies other papers. So ethics, when you answer the conceptual part, be free to link concepts from other general studies topics and general studies papers like general studies 2, which has a lot of commonality with general studies 4. Whatever you have read in governance, whatever you, that will come in hand when you analyze a topic like this. So the first part of an aspirant's preparation, as I said earlier, studying the syllabus, picking out the common points of the syllabus. Thank you.